Rejection is a universal human experience. It stings, humbles, and often leaves us questioning our worth, our path, and even our identity. But to the Stoic, rejection is not a punishment or misfortune. It is an invitation. It is the beginning of a more refined path, a tool for inner cultivation, and a teacher with a stern yet necessary lesson. So, when you find yourself being rejected, know the following. 1. Rejection is not harm, it is judgment. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Rejection is not an objective harm. It is a human judgment, often made by people with incomplete knowledge, biases, or differing values. Whether it is a job application, a relationship, or a personal idea turned down, the event is neutral. Our suffering arises not from the event, but from our interpretation. I am not good enough, or this means I've failed. The first step in turning rejection to your favor is to strip it of the false weight we attach to it. The Stoic learns to separate what is in their control, their intentions, their effort, their virtue, from what is not, the opinions, decisions, or actions of others. When you remove your ego from the outcome, rejection becomes less of a personal attack and more of a logistical detail. Second, see rejection as redirection. Marcus Aurelius in Meditations wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In Stoicism, this is known as the principle of amor fati, the love of fate. Everything that happens, including rejection, is to be embraced as necessary and even beneficial. The Stoic does not merely accept the rejection, he uses it. Rejection redirects you. It reveals paths that you had not considered, strengthens your ability to adapt, and forces clarity about what truly matters. Often, rejection is the world's way of saying, not here, but there, or even, not yet, but later. Instead of resisting, ask, what is this rejection showing me? Perhaps your path needs refinement. Perhaps you are aiming at something that does not align with your values. Or maybe it's simply preparing you for a better opportunity that requires the humility and strength rejection provides. 3. Rejection trains the soul. Seneca, one of Stoicism's great minds, viewed adversity as a form of exercise for the soul. He wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Rejection is a perfect training ground for the Stoic. It tests your apatheia, your freedom from being disturbed by externals. It develops your resilience, sharpens your focus, and teaches you detachment from outcomes. In a culture that idolizes success and fears failure, the Stoic becomes free by embracing the sting of rejection as a necessary tempering of character. A person who has never been rejected may be praised for their success, but they are untested. The Stoic seeks to be unshakable, and that requires exposure to the harsh winds of denial, disappointment, and closed doors. In this way, rejection becomes a forge, melting away the fragile ego and shaping the stronger, more virtuous self. 4. Choosing the view from above. The Stoics practiced a method known as the view from above, imagining oneself beyond the confines of their current situation, even outside their own life, to see events from a cosmic perspective. From this elevated view, one can see that rejection, though painful in the moment, is a speck on the grand canvas of life. It loses its power to dominate your sense of worth. It becomes a small event, swallowed up by time and perspective. You begin to see that rejection is not an enemy, but part of the pattern, perhaps even a favor, saving you from a greater misstep, or refining your desires to aim towards something truly worthwhile. 5. Acting with virtue, regardless of outcome. The core of Stoic ethics is this: Live according to virtue, with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, regardless of whether you are accepted or rejected. The Stoic judges himself not by the applause of others, but by the integrity of his own choices. Did you act with honesty, with diligence, with humility? If so, then rejection changes nothing. Your worth remains intact, rooted not in the shifting opinions of the world, but in the unshakable foundation of virtue. In this way, the Stoic turns rejection into favor, not by manipulating outcomes, but by aligning the soul with nature and choosing to respond with reason and dignity. When you learn to welcome rejection as a mentor instead of an enemy, you become untouchable, not because you avoid pain, but because you have learned to convert it into strength.